He was once his best man, his protector, his only brother. But behind the palace walls, a cold war has been raging. A war of whispers, of betrayals, and of a throne threatened. And now, we have the bombshell evidence that Prince William isn't just defending the crown anymore. He's launching a final devastating offensive, a secret multi-phase plan designed not just to win the battle, but to end the war with Prince Harry permanently. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you thought the royal rift couldn't get any deeper, any darker, or any more dramatic, then buckle up. Because today, we're diving deep into what insiders are calling Operation Airstrike. Prince William's meticulously crafted, secretly plotted final revenge plan to systematically dismantle Prince Harry's influence, credibility, and legacy forever. This isn't just a theory. We're connecting the dots from recent events, insider leaks, and the very history of this broken brotherhood. This is a story of power, legacy, and the ultimate betrayal. To understand the brutality of William's alleged plan, we first have to understand the depth of the betrayal he feels. This isn't just about messy family drama. For William, this is a direct attack on everything he is destined to protect, the monarchy itself. Think back. William wasn't just the older brother, he was the de facto parent after their mother's tragic death. He felt a profound responsibility for Harry. They were the us-against-the-world duo, the monarchy's golden pairing. But that bond began to fracture under the weight of Megxit, but it was utterly shattered by the interviews, the documentaries, and especially Harry's memoir, Spare. From William's perspective, Harry didn't just air dirty laundry. He handed the family's enemies a blueprint for destruction. He weaponized their most private grief, their most intimate arguments, and their deepest insecurities for global consumption and a multi-million-dollar payday. He attacked William's wife, Kate, and most grievously, he undermined the stability of the institution William will one day lead. An insider from the William camp was quoted as saying, "It felt like a calculated strike at the very heart of the future king's authority. It wasn't a cry for help, it was a declaration of war. And in a war, you don't just defend, you attack." William's plan, according to our sources, is not emotional. It's not a hot-headed rage. It's a cold, calculated, and strategic dismantling operation. And phase one is already in full swing, the silent squeeze. This is about cutting Harry and Meghan off from the very oxygen of relevance, money, access, and royal connection. The Frogmore Cottage eviction, this wasn't just King Charles's decision. Insiders suggest William was a key architect behind the move. It was a symbolic and practical masterstroke. It severed their last tangible tie to UK soil, sending a brutal message, you have no home here anymore. It was the eviction notice from the family itself, the coronation snub. Harry was invited, yes, but relegated to the third row behind non-working royals and minor aristocracy. He was given no role, no moment in the spotlight, and was swiftly ushered out immediately after the ceremony. He was treated not as a son or brother, but as a barely tolerated foreign dignitary. This was a public demotion orchestrated to show the world and Harry exactly where he stands on the periphery. The most telling, the financial chokehold. There have been consistent rumors and reports about the transition period for Harry and Meghan's commercial independence being over. Any lingering, behind-the-scenes financial support or office resources have been completely severed. The message is clear. You wanted to be financially independent? Now you truly are. Sink or swim on your own. This forces them to rely entirely on their volatile media deals, making them vulnerable. But cutting them off financially is one thing. The real battle is for public opinion, and this is where phase two begins, the narrative takeover. William knows Harry's power comes from his voice, his story, so William's plan is to systematically seize control of that narrative. William isn't fighting fire with fire. He's not doing interviews. He's not writing a counter-memoir. That's Harry's game. William's strategy is far more sophisticated. He is embodying the antithesis of everything Harry represents. While Harry speaks about trauma, William is showcasing stability. While Harry talks about breaking cycles, William is presenting a picture of a perfect, unbreakable family unit with Kate and their children. While Harry critiques the institution, William is modernizing it from within, but on his own terms. He's launching more visible, impactful projects, particularly around homelessness and mental health, areas where Harry once held sway. He's allowing more access to his and Kate's lives, carefully curating an image of a relatable, yet impeccably dutiful, future king. He's making the monarchy look strong, stable, and essential without Harry. Furthermore, the palace's communications team, which ultimately answers to the future king, has become a powerful weapon. Notice how every story about Harry now is met with a brief, firm no comment from the palace, or a carefully placed counter-leak from aides or insiders that paints William as the stoic, wounded party focused on duty. They are starving Harry's narrative of the oxygen of a public fight. They are letting Harry's own words, through endless interviews and podcasts, eventually ring hollow against William's silent, steadfast image of duty. But these phases, the financial squeeze, the narrative control, they are just the setup. They are the groundwork for the final, most devastating phase of William's plan. A phase so brutal, so final, that it doesn't just aim to defeat Harry, it aims to erase him from the royal story forever. What is this final phase? How does William plan to destroy Harry's legacy for good? We'll reveal all of that right after this short break. Don't go anywhere, because what's coming next, you won't believe. William's ultimate power isn't just as a brother, it's as the future king. And as king, he will have unparalleled control over the royal archives. The biographers granted access in the very narrative of the firm. Phase 3 is about leveraging that power to permanently minimize Harry's role and significance. This involves several calculated moves. First, the archival diminishment. Royal historians rely on access to the royal archives to write the definitive biographies. It is believed that when William ascends the throne, access to documents and correspondence pertaining to Harry's more positive contributions within the monarchy, his military service, his work with the Invictus Games in its early UK days, his key charitable projects will be heavily restricted or framed within a new negative context. The focus for future historians will be guided towards his exit and the perceived betrayal. Second, and perhaps more chilling, is the monarchical marginalization. Look at the royal website. Harry and Meghan's profiles have already been moved down, listed below every other working royal. This is just the beginning. Insiders suggest that upon the king's passing, William will oversee a significant restructuring of the monarchy's official history. Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, may be formally acknowledged, but will be strategically distanced from the main line of succession in all official materials. Their titles, or the use of them, will be a constant source of debate, quietly encouraged by the palace. The most symbolic act? The commemorative erasure. When the time comes for official monuments, coins, or stamps for William's reign, Harry is likely to be conspicuously absent. Where previous royal jubilees featured the core family, future images will be exclusively William, Kate, and their children. Harry will be edited out of the monarchy's future visual story, just as he chose to edit himself out of its operations. Now, this plan seems airtight. A slow, grinding, institutional crushing of a rebel prince. But William isn't just dealing with a subordinate. He's dealing with his brother, who has proven to be unpredictable and has a global platform, and that is the critical weakness in William's plan. Harry's ability to counter-narrate. Harry and Meghan are masters of the media universe. They have podcasts, production deals, and best-selling books. If they feel cornered, if they feel that William is attempting to erase them, that could trigger a nuclear response. Imagine another book from Harry, but this one no longer about his own trauma, but a direct, scorched-earth attack on William personally, his temperament, his ambitions, his insecurities. They could sit down for one more final tell-all interview that makes the Oprah special look tame. William's entire strategy relies on Harry eventually running out of things to say or the public growing tired of it. But if William's pressure becomes too overt, he might ironically trigger the very response he's trying to prevent. It's a gigantic gamble. William is betting that the institution of the monarchy is more powerful than the media empire of two individuals. But in the modern age, that's not a bet anyone can be sure of winning. It's easy to frame this as a simple story of hatred between brothers. But sources close to William insist it's far more clinical than that. This isn't about hate, it's about hemorrhage control. William's primary duty, the duty drilled into him since birth, is to protect the monarchy and ensure its survival for his son, Prince George. From that perspective, Harry isn't a brother, he is an existential threat. A loose cannon with a global megaphone who could, at any moment, say something that causes irrevocable damage to the crown's reputation. William's plan, therefore, isn't driven by a desire for petty revenge, but by a cold, strategic need to neutralize a threat. The ultimate goal is to make Harry irrelevant, to make his words seem like the bitter ramblings of a distant, minor royal living thousands of miles away, rather than the insider revelations of the king's brother. It's to drain his stories of their power by severing his connection to the institution he's criticizing. William doesn't need to destroy Harry physically, he needs to destroy his credibility and his platform. To make the world see Harry not as a wronged prince, but as a celebrity seeking attention, a narrative he is already dangerously close to fulfilling. So, is Prince William secretly plotting the final revenge on Prince Harry? The evidence suggests a calculated, multi-phase strategy is indeed underway. It may not be called Operation Airstrike in a secret document, but the actions speak for themselves: financial isolation, narrative control, and a long-term plan for historical marginalization. This is the tragic endgame of a bond shattered not just by personal differences, but by the immense crushing weight of duty, destiny, and a crown that must be protected at all costs. William has chosen the crown. Harry chose his freedom. And now those two choices are on a collision course that can only end in total destruction. But what do you think? Is William justified in protecting the monarchy so ruthlessly? Or is he taking the feud too far, risking an even bigger explosion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you were shocked by this deep dive, if you want more uncensored royal analysis, then you need to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next explosive video. The War of the Windsors is far from over, and we'll be here to break down every single shot fired.